Jamaica's public health system is broken. Every week we hear the horror stories. Long waiting times, no beds, basic equipment not working. Hospitals and clinics are in crisis. While this government cuts ribbons, Jamaicans are being left to suffer in overcrowded, under-resourced facilities like this one. The next PNP government will change this. We're going to shift focus. We want to prioritize actual care for people when they're sick, not these mega projects with huge cost overruns and that can't finish years after they start. Refurbishing every operating theatre, creating urgent care centres island-wide so people stop waiting days for help on benches or floors. We're going to launch national screening programs to target the biggest killers of our people: cancer, hypertension, which is pressure, diabetes, which is sugar. We want to catch them early so that people's lives can be saved. We will make the investments to ensure that every parish hospital has the equipment it needs to deliver the services required by the people. And stop the outsourcing racket that leaves patients with nothing but bills and delays. And we will support our healthcare workers, not just with words, but with housing, with training opportunities, and with respect. This is not about PR, it's about saving actual people's lives. Next PNP government will deliver proper, decent healthcare for the people of Jamaica. Time come.
All right, people, look at this. I'm going to tell you a story. Look at the barbed wire. Look upon that and the big wall. These poor vendors, they have to do this because of one greedy vendor inside Fair Prospect High School who, you know, it's like, why can't you share with the people? Let these people make a living as well to sell things to the school children. I think it's absolutely outrageous. Look at that. They have to stand on ladders with barbed wire. Make this go viral, Jamaica. Make it go viral. This Agwan, right in Fair Prospect, East Portland. Oh, bless these vendors, man. Bless their hearts. All right. Love and respect from Antipat. All right, people.
Having a conversation about what the sanctity of life. We're having a conversation about how the reality is that life, and I've said it in many spaces, is something given to us without knowing we are to receive it. So to take it in the name of war, to take it in the name of political expedience, there's simply no justification for it, right? And so for that, I want people to appreciate, and I want people to understand that there are things going on in the world. Sudan, poverty, famine, hunger. These things are real. These are human rights violations that affects everybody. Sometimes, and let me tell you why it's important to Jamaica. There is no difference sometimes. This out of many one in Jamaica, you know. Sometimes you see somebody, if they don't open their mouth, you don't know the difference whether them is a Haitian, Jamaican, African or anything. So us as black people, we must appreciate that. Don't get caught up in these geographical disturbances that make you think that you're different. If there's a place in the world where black people are under bondage and suffrage, it affects you too, because if it can happen to them, it can happen to you. And as a growing, developing nation, and you can quote me on this, because I know for a fact the government is incapable of taking care of the needs of the people. It's incapable. We're developing a country of beggars, notwithstanding that a select few are rich, and what is expedient and inconvenient for them is a reality for us. I'm included in that us, because notwithstanding that I'm a member of parliament, I am not of the ilk according to some of them, that would put me in the category of them, those high and mighty and superior and rich. And so they forget about human dignity, which is what we must always consistently remind people, that it is owed to each and every one of us, and the least among us. Right? So that in and of itself is the starting point. So when we are thinking in the context of this context matters, and finding where the truth lies, the oxymoron of the word lie, right? It is facts versus fanciful speculation. So many things are happening in the world, and we cannot turn a blind eye to it. Here on our soil, I pause to say that I, on this program, even right through my campaign, have spoken out about my disgust and disappointment by the vast amount, heightened amount of extrajudicial killings that has taken place, to the point that I stopped count, to the point that even where I am saying each and every single life that is lost by extrajudicial killings is also robbed of the right to be adjudicated before a court, a competent court. And adjudication goes all the way to the Privy Council. And one would think that having people watch Context Matters and appreciating that if you don't know nobody else will ever go to the Privy Council, you don't know me. If you never meet a lawyer out of Jamaica that has gone there and is one of Uno meet me. So I want people, guess what? Just stay off of my life. You understand? Just stay off of my life. That I want you to do. Big man thing. Yeah. And having said that, extrajudicial killings is unacceptable. Not just in Jamaica, but everywhere in the world. And in America, when George Floyd was murdered extrajudiciously, they said Black Lives Matters, and then people say all life matters, and then people, well, this is a time when I'm gonna say in relation to Cherry Lane, country youth life matter, mixologist life matters, Black lives matters, the youth of this country, their lives matters. Yes? And for those who always try to find an excuse for unjustified killings, which by definition, when a killing is unjustified, it is murder. And there's a case called R against Clegg, R.V. Clegg, where the House of Lords made it absolutely clear that the armed forces, police and soldier have no special considerations under the law. When you commit murder, it is murder. It's not manslaughter. It's not justified. And it is also criminal, and I will say it, because as much as I have defended members of the JCF and constantly reminding the Jamaican people that is not all members of the JCF is carrying on with this conduct. In the past, Amnesty International would have reported against conduct. And let me tell you something, I was horrified in this very country as a law student having to read about the case of Kentucky. Kentucky was an artist, Kentucky was a taxi man, and he took his grouse all the way to the international community and still was murdered. Even with video showing police brutality. And the powers that be Whether or not justice is served is a matter. But there were officers whose visas were taken away and families' visas were taken away because of this conduct. At one time, yes, Kentucky Kid, people remember, I never forget Dr. Janelle Matthews, her introduction to murder was the playing of what happened to Kentucky Kid. It never left my mind, and I knew right there and then that when I finished law school, I was going to be a human rights attorney. And I started to do constitutional law, and I know for sure that not only would I want to be a human rights attorney, but that I would go into the criminal court and defend those whose rights were being taken away by prejudgment. We are a society that filled with judges, society that cast the first stone because everybody somehow is without sin, because Jamaica have the most churches per square meter and mile than any other country in English speaking Caribbean and the world at large. So yes, I'm going to talk about this, and yes, I'm going to say that it is the people who has to stop. These are issues germane to your existence. So we cannot pretend. And yes, ex parte Pinochet, the stipendary magistrate case. See, I'm telling you about law because we're in the age where you can just Google these things. It says that a man cannot be a judge in his own cause. So yes, the police cannot be judge and jury and executioner. It's not allowed to happen. And persons who use their office to carry out crimes and to use influence to intimidate and suppress the truth, diminishing the fact-finding exercise and sometimes preventing it from coming to court for adjudication by those who are competent. They are the criminals of this society.